Good morning, my students. Welcome to another class. The topic for today is vocabulary, waste, and debris, right? And the objective is to increase a student's vocabulary, right? Okay, today we are going to work in the book, right? Then I need you to open your books in page number 46, right? And I need you to bring a pencil, right? Do you have your book and your pencil? Very good. Okay, now we are going to work in exercise number 1, right? It is from vocabulary, right? It says waste and debris, right? And the exercise number 1 says match the items to the recycled bins, right? Okay, but first of all, we are going to analyze each word that says in the exercise, right? Okay, but before we start, I wanted you to remember what did we do yesterday? Very good. We do a reading exercise. Very good. The reading was about space debris, right? Right. It was interesting. Okay, and do you remember what is a debris? Excellent. This is escombro, right? And do you remember what objects are launched into the space and why? Very good. We have satellites, and also we have, let me see, rockets, right? Do you remember what is a rocket? Yeah, is that kind of vehicle, something like that. Okay, very good. Okay, now we are going to start. The first word in your book says newspaper. What is newspaper? As you can see here in the image, here we have a newspaper, okay? And then we have plastic bottles. What are plastic bottles? These bottles are plastic, right? Is the material that they are made of, right? Okay. And do you know what is a carton boxes? Here we have in the image. Can you see? This is a cartoon box, right? And also we have rubber gloves. Here we have a rubber glove. Do you have one in your houses? Yeah, this is very useful, right? Okay, rubber gloves. Do you have cans? Here we have in the image. Please watch the image. Here we have cans, right? Okay, now we have rubber bands. Here in the image we have rubber bands, right? Very good. Okay, now we have foil. Do you know what is foil? This is foil, right? And also this kind of paper, right? Aluminum, this is a foil, right? Okay. And do you know what is a drink carton? Let me see, here I have, this is a drink carton. Sometimes we have drinks here. This recipe is made of carton, right? Okay, what else? Drink carton, glass jar. Do you know what is a glass jar? Here I have a glass jar. I want to show you. This is a glass jar. It's made of glass, right? This is a jar made of glass, okay? And do you know what is a wire? Wire is something like this, right? Here in the image you have the wire, but specific is this part, right? Okay, now we have cooking oil. Here we have two kinds of cooking oil, right? This is oliva oil, and this is cooking oil, right? Okay, and also we have leaves. Here I have some leaves. These are leaves, right? These come from plants, right? These are leaves. They are the lungs of the plant, right? Leaves. Remember. Okay. Now we are going to complete exercise number 1. Okay? In this exercise, we have some bins, right? These are bins. Number 1 is for paper, excuse me. Number 2 is for glass. Do you know what is glass? It's the material, right? It's the material. This is glass. The windows are made of glass, right? And also we have plastic and metal. You know plastic. This was plastic, right? And metal, you know metal, right? Here we don't have, I don't have something for, this is metal, right? Metal, right? Okay, now, number 4, bin number 4 is garden food. Garden food, garden, you know what is it? This is jardín, food, comida, right? And we have oil and rubber. You know what is rubber? This is the material. Rubber, the material, right? And oil. Oil is not the bottle. It's this part, right? This is oil, right? Okay. Okay, my dear students. Now we have to classify these materials. For example, we have newspaper. We are going to through this newspaper, old newspaper of course, in being number 1, number 2, 3, 4, or 5. Very good. Number 1, plastic bottles. We are going to through plastic bottles in being number 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Very good. Number 3. Here we are going to write number 3. Cardboard boxes. Number 1. Very good. Rubber gloves. Very good. In rubber oil. Number 5. Right? Cans. They are made of aluminum, right? Aluminum. Of course, we are going to throw in bin number 3. This is for metal and plastic, right? And rubber bands. Do you remember these bands that maybe you use in order to make a very good thing in your hair, right? Okay, rubber bands. Here, right? In number 5, foil. This was foil. Of course, we are going to throw this trash. And bin number 3. Very good. Drink cartoon. Do you remember cartoon? Drink, right? Okay, we are going to throw this in paper. Number 1, right? And drink cartoon. Glass jar. If we have a glass jar made of glass, like windows, where we are going to throw this kind of trash? Very good. In bin number 2, glass, right? Wire. Wire, do you remember? This is a wire, excuse me. Okay, we are going to throw this in metal. Number 3, right? Cooking oil. This is cooking oil, right? This liquid, right, is cooking oil. Where? In bin number 5. Very good. And also we have leaves. Do you remember? We are going to throw this in garden food. Very good. Okay, my students. Now we are going to do exercise number 2. Working groups. Of course, you're going to work alone because we don't have anybody else to work in this activity, right? Okay. Here we have We have to make a list. Of course, you are going to use post-its, memotics, or sticky notes, right? In order to write your list of other items you put in each of these bins at home, right? I think you have to write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have to write 5 items for each bin, right? 5 items of paper, like notebooks, books, but I don't think you want to through books, right? But of course, books, notebooks, etc., right? Glass, you can write windows, broken windows, something like that. 5 items, right? 5 items of plastic, 5 items of garden food, or 5 items made of oil or rubber, okay? Now, we are going to do exercise number 3. Excuse me. In exercise number 3, you have to choose one of the bins. One of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One of these 5, right? A bin of paper, a bin of glass, a bin of metal or plastic, a bin of garden food, or a bin of rubber or oil, right? You have to choose one of these bins and conduct a survey to find out what other groups put in the bins, right? Right? Okay, here. And you have to write that in a memotic, right? And in exercise number 3, you have to choose one of these bins. In exercise number 4, you have to discuss the questions in your groups. You have to discuss the question. You have to think in the question, right? And then you have to answer these questions. Which bin has the most items? What do you think? A paper bin, a glass bin, a plastic or metal bin, a garden food bin, or oil or rubber bin? Okay, which one do you think has the most items, of course? And the question letter B, it says, which bin has the least? Which one has the least? Or least a small quantity of items, right? Okay. And what are the most common items? What are the most common items that you can find, right? You have to answer these questions, of course, in a memotic, right? Okay. Now, what we are going to do, you have to complete this part of the book, right? Exercise number 1, 2, and 3, and 4, right? And you have to take a picture of this page, of this part, because sometimes you take pictures of all the page and it's impossible to me to see the answers, right? Please take a picture only of this part, right? Vocabulary, right? And also you have to make your parents sign this homework, right? And you have to upload to the classroom, right? Okay, my dear students, have a nice day. I hope you enjoyed this activity. Bye, my dear students.